Well, good morning. Let's hope that my audio is better this morning. Looks like it might be a little bit hot. So first of all, let me know that you have found me this morning. What time is it? Okay, yeah, it is 8 o'clock. I was a little bit worried. So yeah, I just poured my coffee. You may have heard it because I had it sitting right next to my microphone. Sorry about that. So how is everybody this morning? If this is your first time joining us or you're watching us on the replay, my name is Colleen Hammond. I am a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, and I now teach people how to develop their entire image, from what they're wearing to their body language to their communication skills. And you will notice that in the link above, I do have a link to my class on communication skills and knowing the temperaments. And it's a Cyber Monday deal, but we've had a lot of technical difficulties. And the class, I think there's only a couple of seats left in the class. People have asked me to start another class because I'm trying to limit the number of people in the class so that I can engage with everybody properly. So I may be adding a second class. So that link is bit.ly/, so it's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/4 temp, T-E-M-P, class. So how is everybody this morning? Yeah, these are the backup glasses because the other ones broke. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, good morning, Sarah. Yeah, this is, actually I was going to do a different room. I was going to do the cigar room because the cigar room kind of goes better with these glasses, I thought. But I was having problems getting everything lined up in time and things were running a bit late. So I just thought we would stick with the wives and daughters room this morning. So, hey, Susan, Catherine, Sarah, Victoria. You did hear me pouring my coffee. Sorry about that. Yeah, and I didn't have a chance to, I put my lipstick thingy on. So I have pink lipstick and a red top. So go figure. You like these, Rachel? Thank you. I appreciate it. There's Mary Ellen. Good morning. How are things at the Bonnie Blue House this morning? So yeah, I just kind of threw these things on at the last minute, and I had a different top on, and then I spilled something on it. It's been one thing after the other this morning. So this is how I ended up rolling this morning. So this is it. I didn't get a chance to do Periscope yesterday. We had a couple of last-minute visitors. We had some exciting things happening in people's lives. So things kind of went wonky yesterday, and it just seems to be happening that way again today. So, yeah, it's so good to see you. Can't wait to hear your voice again, too, Mary Ellen. I was just, it was so funny because I was just thinking about you this morning. And I thought, gosh, I haven't heard from Draper, and I don't know what's going on. And here we are, almost December, and I'm making plans for next year. Hey, good morning, Christy. Liz made it. Christy made it. Yay. See, this is why I want to broadcast on my personal page. And, first of all, you have to pay, when you broadcast on your business page, you have to pay $3 to $5 to boost it to make sure that anybody sees it. So I just like going on my personal page. So I'm glad we're over here this morning. And so, yeah, the class is a lot of questions about the class. So the temperaments class, looking very well put together. Thanks, Rachel. Hey, Jocelyn, you found us. That's good. Sherry's driving. My sister Sherry's driving, but she's listening. I know Jocelyn's registered for the class. I can't remember. There's a lot of people registered for the class. A couple of people came in this morning, so I haven't checked the final numbers. Normally, PayPal is set to cut it off at 100. So if you did get in the class, you're all set. I was hoping to get an email out today, but like I said, life happened yesterday. And I still plan on getting an email out today. I just plan on getting out this morning, so it didn't go out this morning. So, all right, so how's the audio this morning? Yesterday it sounded like I was in a tin can. The problem with, having a really good microphone, I have to get the adjustments right. It's my Audio-Teca. And I just want to make sure I have the adjustments all right so that I'm not sounding like I'm in a tin can and I'm not sounding like things are crazy. I think some cats just knocked something over. So let me know on that audio, because the audio, I think, is one thing that I can adjust at this point. Look and sound great. It sounds great. Okay, good. Because yesterday it was cranked out too high. So what I wanted to talk about today, let me get this arranged here for a second, is it's kind of a connection to temperaments. We're going to be talking about introverts, because more than 1/3 of people are introverts. Thanks, Valerie. Glad you like the glasses. They're kind of cute on the side, too. You get the little funkiness going on, which I think is cool. I got them at Sam Moon. So if anybody's in the local area, you're very familiar with Sam Moon. So I wanted to talk about introverts. We all have introverts in our life. And there's a difference between people being introverted. Some people think, oh, they're just shy. It's not shyness. And some people can confuse being an introvert for a lack of self-confidence as well. So there are differences between those. So, but we all have introverts in our life. The introvert talk. Come on, Tina, join us. Victoria's an introvert. Tammy, not. Hey, Maria, good morning. How you doing? And thanks for all those likes and shares. I see that some people are already sharing it, so I really appreciate that, because that boosts us up on Facebook. Again, especially getting noticed by Facebook. Oh, I was contacted by Buster yesterday. I guess it's a new live streaming thing. So I just downloaded that, so I'm probably doing some Buster this afternoon too. So, anyway, if you are watching this is being broadcasted to a lot of different pages on my Facebook account, which I'm not going to be doing much longer. I just find it to be very confusing. So if you want me to see your comments, go to the main page that I'm broadcasting from, which is my personal page, facebook.com/Colleen.Hammond. Don't put an M in there. It's Colleen.Hammond. And I'm going to be changing that opening title card so that we're just going to start coming back over here to the personal page. I think it's just a lot easier to do it here, and people seem to find it. Catherine says she's definite. Rex has got lag on his end. It might be your connection. Rachel says she's an introvert as well. I've lowered all of my output so that it goes to a phone. So I'm going out at less than 800. I'm at 700 kilobytes. So very, very low. Husband's a melancholic phlegmatic and an introvert, says Becky. Monica, major introvert. Sherry, my sister, not an introvert. And I'm an ambivert. So I have tendencies of both. So for a lot of times I can be very energized around people, and I love being around people, and they bring me a lot of energy. And then I kind of hit the fun barrier where it's like, nah, I don't like people anymore. I need to recharge. And people are sending me notes. So I'm just going to turn off my notifications here. It's kind of rough when people send me notes and I'm live on the air. So there's a difference between being shy, being lacking self-confidence, and being an introvert. So really, what is an introvert? There's different varieties of introverts. There's the recharger. It's somebody that I can be around people for a little bit, and then I have to go recharge. And then there's the ponderer, where it's somebody that really and sometimes you can be both, but introversion tends to lean one direction or the other. They tend to be prominent in either a recharger or a ponderer. And the ponderer is somebody that has to absorb the information and then work through it and then come back and present an answer. And that can vary. You can be an introverted choleric and you'll react one way, or you can be an introverted melancholic and you'd react a different way. So you can be introverted with the different temperaments. And I cover that in the temperament class. Hit that link above. And again, on that temperament class, that's something I charge thousands of dollars to go into a corporation, do all-day seminar. And then when I teach it online for professionals, so psychiatrists can get continuing education credits, I charge a couple of $1,000s for that. And then for the regular class, for us normal folk, I usually charge $397 for that, and that price may be going up. But the price for Cyber Monday was $97, which is super, super, super cheap. So that is my Christmas gift to you, and that's me celebrating, my Advent gift to you, really, and me celebrating being cancer-free. So jump on that and take advantage of that. So you can be an introvert, and how your temperament will determine how you... That didn't turn off my notifications. Hold on. Your temperament will determine how your introversion is displayed. Liz thinks she's a little bit of both. You have to recharge. Good morning, Florence. Glad you found us. You're both. Sarah says, thank you. You're welcome. It's going to be fun. I'm going to teach that class, and we're doing it live, and so everybody can ask questions. And then after the class, it will be recorded. So if you miss the live presentation, because we go do Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. Central. And if you miss it, there's the recording that will be sent to you, the handouts will be sent to you, and then everything's put in a membership area behind a firewall, so all the recordings will be there that you can access for the rest of your life. So this is something that you can teach and work with your children on. You can include it in your homeschooling. If you're a homeschooler, you can, if you're a business owner, it's something that you can work with your employees. You'll have access to it for the rest of your life. So for $97, it's just, okay, somebody just got it. Somebody just signed up. Oh, 2 people just signed up. So I'm going to turn the notifications off on that one too. So really there's, for that amount of money, the ability to have that to go back and use and reference for forever, and not just share it with your friends, but to share it with your family or include it in your homeschooling program. It's essential to understand, especially if you're working with your children. Anyway, go back. So that's at bit.ly, the number 4, temp, T-E-M-P class. So understanding your variety of introversion. Are you a recharger or a ponderer? Then you need to, as I said earlier, distinguish, are you shy? Is it a lack of confidence? Or are you truly just displaying an introverted tendency? So confidence, and I'll put a link in the show notes. I should have grabbed that link beforehand. I have the playlist on the 5-part series that we did on confidence and growing in confidence. So I'll put the link to that playlist in the show notes above. But a confident person pretty much in general thinks, most people will like me. I'm a likable person. Some people will like me. Some people won't. That's okay. And then a confident person will know their strengths and know their weaknesses. So here's my chair again. Haven't WD-40'd it, sorry. So a confident person, so that's introversion is not a lack of confidence. It's a type, and it's how you relate to the world. So it's not about, hey, good morning, Geza. I'm glad Jocelyn, it's going to be an amazing class because I do it different than most people do it. I take all of this into consideration. I take gender into consideration. So not only do I teach you your temperament, I show you how to identify other people's temperaments and how best to work with that temperament. So Myers-Briggs will tell me I'm an ENTJ. Great. What do I do with that? What people do I work best with, and that type of thing. So anyway, I don't want to spend this time talking about the class. I do want to talk about introversion. And if you have, for me, like if I had an introverted child, which you pretty much don't, knowing if your child is an introvert, and in your parenting style with that child, each child, based on their temperament, if they're an introvert, an ambivert, an extrovert, if they are an auditory, visual, a kinesthetic, if they're male or female, you develop your parenting style with that child. And for example, if you're a sanguine parent, you tend to, I just want everybody to like me. So your parenting style is going to be different based on your temperament, and then how that needs to adjust based on the child's temperament. So if you have an introverted child, it's like you can't force them to be outside of their temperament. You can't punish them for being their temperament. So if they're introverted / shy, you can't if you try to force them to operate outside of that comfort zone, or punish them for not being an extrovert, for example, then you're not helping them grow. And so it's important to identify these things, so distinguishing between that, which takes me to the next step. Did I number these? I did number them, and then I was going to do the top 3 tips for introverts, and I have 5 on my piece of paper. So I don't know what I'm on, number 4 actually, but I'm not sure how I kind of work that around. But anyway, developing a workaround. So if you are an introvert, or you have somebody in your life that's an introvert, when they become overstimulated, there's times where you have to say, I have to override my natural tendencies and do it anyway. So learning to identify those times where you do have to overcome, just say, I'm just going to do it anyway. But there's times where you have to do that, but then there's times that you can work around strategies. So developing those strategies. So what would those strategies be? Well, as an introvert, introverts tend to work better in seclusion. Introverts tend to be very overstimulated by a cluttered desk. If you know this about yourself, you have to develop a work environment where you're not dealing with clutter, where you don't have a bunch of stuff on your desk, where you don't have things on your wall or too much noise in your background. Good morning, Patricia. Does this go for 5-year-olds? By the time you're 5, by the time a child's 5, 6, 7, you'll really be able to identify their temperament. My daughter's girlfriend was over yesterday and had her toddler. He's 19 months old. And toddlers are cholerics. Boom. They're not all cholerics. They just act like cholerics, right? He's so strong-willed, is it? He's a toddler. That's just his age. So we talked a lot about parenting styles and temperaments, which is kind of why we kind of rolled into this morning. Geza says you cannot force them to be on a sports team when they don't want to be. I think... that's a parenting question, more so than a temperament question, I would think. I think sports are important for boys. I happen to think competitive sports tend to go against a girl's natural inclination. And I talked about this yesterday. I talked about it in the class, and I referenced my friend Leslie Knight's book. It was written for men, that women are not men in drag in the business world. Women are networkers. Women are, they're about relationships. And they want everybody to get along. It's part of a natural woman's gender. Her temperament, I was going to say, but it's not a temperament issue. And it can vary depending on that woman's temperament. Men are about hierarchy. They're more about the structure and the hierarchy and knowing where everybody falls in that hierarchy. So with sports, men compete and develop a hierarchy. And it is a generalization, Susan, and it depends on temperament, upbringing, nature, nurture. There's so many things that go into play, but in general, that's why I said in general, that the men like that hierarchy. So competition in sports are very important for them. Women, on the other hand, that's not a natural tendency, so they develop a competitive spirit. For me, I played volleyball. And I remember in college playing volleyball, being on the front line at the net and spiking into a girl's face, breaking her nose, and she started to bleed. And we all high-fived each other. And something inside me cracked. Because women are responsible for protecting the baby seals. That's not a concept that most men would come up with, right? So sports in general is very intriguing, because the whole idea in sports, and having played, is that you go for the weakest link, and this girl on the front line could not handle a spike. She was the weak link in their front line, and so I aimed that spike at her. In sports, you go for the weakest link and you demolish it. A woman's tendency is to protect the innocent, to protect the baby seals. So living in a farm atmosphere on a ranch, when our cats have kittens every spring, and sometimes if they lose a litter or something happens, they'll have another litter in the fall. The girls will go for the runt of the litter. Oh, this is Biddy, and they would try to protect the runt of the litter. And our boys would find the big burly kittens, and here's Hercules, and and they just. So the natural inclination is to protect that runt of the litter for the girls. Anyway, I'm getting off on a whole totally different thing. Monica says, I have moments of overstimulation to which I've had to adapt and adjust with 6 children. Yes, it's enlightening to see the difference between each one. Absolutely. So anyway, so that developing strategies to be able to overcome. So if you're interrupted and asked to make decisions while you're focused and concentrated, develop a strategy for that. And if you're in a work environment, that ratchets it to a whole new level, right? Noisy environments may overstimulate you. If you have any control over that, then have headsets. Or, earbuds if you're allowed to at work. Or if in a home situation, if you work from home or you are at home, knowing that noisy environments, I had kind of a rule growing up for 2 reasons. My children's toys could not have batteries. I didn't want battery-operated toys in my house. 2 reasons. If it requires the juice from a battery, it doesn't require any juice from their brain. And I wanted their brains to develop. And number 2, I hated the noise. I just, like, noisy toys around overstimulate me. And I just can't have it. So knowing that, no toys with batteries. How to be able, developing a strategy to be able to turn on and off being in a social mode, because part of being a human being is interacting with other human beings. Knowing how you're going to react in that situation. And in my body language class, which isn't open right now, I'm not teaching it right now, but in the body language class, I teach people how to walk into a room and identify the one person to go stand next to that you know you'll have a successful conversation with. So developing those strategies, and hey, good morning, Christian. Developing those strategies of how you're going to react when you're in a social situation. How to respond to people on social media. An extrovert will tend to respond immediately. An introvert will have to ponder it a little bit, how they're going to reply. They'll go, they'll think, they'll strategize, they'll come up with something, and by the time they get back to reply, depending on their temperament, the conversation may be gone, moved in a totally different direction, nobody's talking about that anymore, or whatever. So developing strategies of how you relate to people online, because introversion doesn't go away just because you're behind a computer screen, so knowing how that you relate. So developing those workarounds and strategies for how you're going to react in those situations. And if you have a child that's an introvert, of course, helping them to develop strategies on how to work through that. And finally, finding those ways to interact without acting extroverted, because when you have to act outside of your natural temperament, then you're not true to yourself and you don't feel authentic. And many people suffer from imposter syndrome anyway. So if you're acting like somebody you're not, then that imposter syndrome and that lack of authenticity for yourself increases, which lowers your self-confidence. So learning how to be true to your introversion and being okay with being an introvert or an ambivert or an extrovert, and acting in a way that's true to that. Does that make sense? So making time to go away and ponder, making time to go away and recharge, knowing that ability to override, knowing those situations, or in this situation I have to hit the override button. There's cats chasing each other. I'm glad they didn't knock down this. And I normally shut the door because I don't want any of my lights to be knocked down. So I didn't know if you heard them galloping through the room. But being self-aware and having that sense of self-awareness is key. Looks like I'm out of focus again. Let's get that focus going. Back in here. So does that make sense? Of learning how to develop those strategies for yourself. And I think the self-awareness really, truly is the key. Knowing your temperament. And again, the link for that class is the bit.ly link, bit.ly/4 temp, TEMP class. And so knowing your temperament and knowing the strengths and weaknesses of that temperament, so that you know best how to develop these strategies from being an introvert or being an extrovert or being an ambivert. Okay? Good morning, Debbie. Glad you made it. So does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about any of those things? I also wanted to share another thing that, you know that I'm a huge Michael Hyatt fan, and I was very, very honored and to be able to, he flew me to Nashville to have dinner, and myself and a couple other people, to Nashville to have dinner with he and his wife, and we shot videos all day doing testimonials for a couple of his programs. This one, Free to Focus in particular, but he has a new program that he calls The Best Year Ever, and that's coming out. And I wanted everybody, hey, good morning, Beth. Beth and Christian are here. So this is the free ebook that he has, and I have the link in the show notes above. The free ebook that he's giving away right now is Setting Up Your Year for Success. It's a free ebook. Of course, it'll put you on his mailing list. You can go on the mailing list. You get put off. And that's fine. But it gives the top 8 strategies that super successful people do at this time of year. And you can do it at any time of year. I actually do it quarterly, where you kind of sit and you reflect back over the year. So it's 8 strategies that successful people that he knows have used to ramp down the end of the year and look at the beginning of the year where you're at and that kind of stuff. So check out that link that's in the above. And of course, this is the class. That's the link to the class. So anybody have any questions about introverts, extroverts, that type of thing? Because if not, looks like we can wrap up early and everybody can get on with their day. And do you like it better here on the personal page? I tend to like it better on the personal page, and it seems to be easier to find. We do have more people here this morning. Nobody's talking this morning. I'm kind of not used to that. People normally have a lot to say. Oh, you know what? You can, if you can, I need to have my teeth whitened. Too much coffee and too much red wine, and my teeth are kind of a funky color. We're introverts, that's why. That's so true. The whole title of the talk, Tips for Introverts. All the introverts joined, and they're sitting behind the computer screen not talking. That's funny, Gaza, you're right. But you're not. You could have... what exactly is an am? I don't know what that means, Terry. Hey, Tamra! Rhymes with camera. I remembered. How are you, my friend? Goodness, I haven't seen you, 2 weeks now? I've been trying to follow you over on Periscope. I'm starting on Periscope today, so I'll keep doing that. It keeps auto-correcting. Oops. Sorry about that, Terry. You have to ask that again because it's already flew by. Flora sends, can someone be an introvert as a melancholic and turn extrovert when their choleric temperament flares up? Yeah, that's called an ambivert. How do extroverts tone down, says my sister. Tina says we're pondering. Oh, ambivert. Yeah, it's really good to see you too, Tamara. We need to connect. I wanted to talk to you, and I don't have your phone number because I was interested in promoting your membership thing. So contact me offline. Terry means ambivert, but the comment's already gone. How do you know if you're an ambivert? Was that the question, Terry? Because, okay. There's no real test. And so you'll find that in general, you really like being around people. And then you hit the wall and it's like, I just can't. I just got to go home. I got to go home and be alone. I just want to be alone. And okay, great. Thanks, Tamara. An ambivert is somebody they're an extrovert and an introvert. So in general, I'm an extrovert. I love people. I'm very energized around people. As a choleric, I'm very quick to make decisions. I dive in. So there's all of that energy. And then I go, man, I just got to be alone. If I have to answer one more question, I'm just going to explode. And so I kind of hit the wall and I totally have to be alone. Somebody who's purely an extrovert, and we're all that way in general, I know my limits. So for example, if I'm at a 3-day conference, I know I can't share a room with anybody. I have to be in a room by myself. A 2-day conference, I could probably share a room with somebody. A 3-day conference or more, I have to have my own room. Because if I'm in a room with 800 people or I'm presenting to 20,000 people or whatever the situation may be, and then I go and I work my table, I'm answering questions, I'm dealing with people, overloads and issues. This guy's yeah. Ambivert all the way, says Jocelyn. Tina says me too. So I know that at a 3-day conference, all that interaction with people, I have to be able to go back to my room, fix myself a cup of tea, and just sit. And I can't have the TV on. I have to have it absolute quiet. And then I can recharge for the next day. So a true, total extrovert will oh man, that was such a great conference. I was with all these people. They'll go back, they'll watch the news, they'll have music on, they'll be dancing around their room, and then they can do that for 3, 4, 5 days in a row. So I need recharge time. So you can be an ambivert, meaning you're both an extrovert and an introvert, and you can lean toward being an extrovert or lean toward more being an introvert. So you can be, I'm really energized by people like one day a week, and then the rest of the time I just have to be by myself. Where a truly, truly, truly introverted person just pretty much wants more isolation. They're very, very, very soft-spoken, introspective, and shy. So it's a ambiverts. Ambiverts are the best. Says Florence, there's no best. There's no better or best. You are who you are, and it's okay to be all of that, because we need all of that in our culture. We need all of that in our society. We need all of those temperaments in our homes. Tamara says, I need thinking time. I take the thinking time. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Janet. I'm so glad you dropped in. Hey, I wanted to give you, you know what? We need to talk on the phone, too. I don't think I think I do have your phone number, actually, but I'd have to look for it, Janet, because there's some things I wanted to talk to you about the course, about the affiliate links, and about certification of the certification program that I'm starting for people to be in the Total Image Institute, and I want to talk to you about that. Sarah, just with having children, I need quiet time every night. Yeah, that's so true, and I usually quit or something with my hands. Oh, quilt. You do something with your hands. See, and that's a coping mechanism. Oh, I forgot I had the scroll going across the top of the screen. And that's knowing your temperament and knowing your coping mechanism and your strategy for dealing with and understanding, being self-aware and knowing, like me, I'm very self-aware. I know 2-day conferences are okay. I can share a room. 3-day conferences or more, I can't share a room. I need to have my quiet time. And normally by day 4, if it's a 5-day conference, by day 4, in the middle of the afternoon, I have to take my lunch to my room to totally isolate and totally be quiet, be able to have some quiet time, some meditation, do a power nap. Remember, we talked about the Pizziz app. I use the Pizziz app for power napping. So I have strategies to know how to cope with that particular situation to keep me going and to keep me interactive and keep me engaged over those conferences, because they're paying me a lot of money to be there to either speak or be an MC or whatever. So I have those coping strategies to know how best to do that in that environment. So. Anyway, are there any other questions? If not, let's go ahead and start putting in our prayer requests. And that's really funky for some reason. Just putting in prayer requests of anything that that needs prayers for the day. I'm still struggling with my website. The DNS, if you know anything about DNS. So these are the requests I have. If you know anything about DNS, let me know, because I'm having huge problems with my website. You try to hit my website, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. Secondly, I need my teeth whitened. If you know anything about teeth whitening, what methods to use, what to avoid, I want to have it professionally done. I tried one of those trays, and I think it just totally destroyed the enamel on my teeth. Yes, I am using OBS, Tamara. Tammy, what's the power? Oh, the app that I use? It's called Pizziz. Let me look it up real quick. It's an app for your phone. There you go. There's the Pizziz app. Oil pulling, I've done that. Sherry's got to be busy all the time. Monica says a friend's daughter is in the hospital, so prayers for Monica's friend's daughter who's in the hospital right now. And if I missed when I was looking for that link for the Pizziz app, I may have missed some other prayer requests. Of course, we always keep Evie in our prayers, because Evie is teed up for that kidney transplant, and she's had problems on and off. For Jocelyn, asks for homeschooling and parental rights in Alberta, Canada, for the parish of St. John's in Calgary, and for the salvation of our family and friends, and for my son's violin shop. Absolutely. That's so exciting. Let me say, we know that. We're praying for Sue, Terry's friend, for the repose of her soul. She just passed away, lost her struggle. And Terry, there was a friend in Hawaii that was in that car accident? About that. Sure, Sheila, good morning. Hopefully communal will cooperate. Love the talkerment. We're doing temperaments and introversion. Yeah. Make sure you sign up for the class. I don't know, you may already have. Tammy says, my friend's son's brain surgery went well. Healed, is in recovery. Looks good. Prayers of thanksgiving for that. Debbie for peace in Tennessee fires. Aaron, prayers for the Catholic artists. It's your cousin Terry, cousin in herbal tooth and gunpowder with organic and wild-crafted herbs. Thank you, Florence. The people in Tennessee. People in Ohio for that shooting that was in Ohio. Patricia says, my niece took a month to get comfortable in preschool. Oh, bless her heart. She's so shy with people at first. It takes her long to get along. That's part of being introverted. You know, she sounds like an introvert. Yeah, it was at Ohio State. Thank you, Sherry. And then I saw something this morning just before we went on the air, and I can't remember what it was, that there was another situation. It might have been the Tennessee situation. So prayers for all of those situations. And if you do have any suggestions for topics, tomorrow I do have already a topic for tomorrow. Valerie Lynn says, for all marriages, for a friend whose daughter is in the hospital, for those living in the wildfires and those in the plane crash in Colombia. That's the one I saw. Hey, good morning, Wanda. We're just wrapping up. We're at the tail end. How you doing? I saw your new profile picture. I think it was with you and your husband. So prayers for them and the Columbia, the plane crash. Yeah. So anyway, so hopefully that gave you. Was that helpful? Did that give you some tips on working with introverts? If you are an introvert, did that help you? And if you have introverts in your life, does that help for them as well? Request for a nephew for conversion and financial need for Patricia. And also, does it help when I put these on YouTube? Because putting them over on YouTube and being able to share from there is sometimes helpful. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good, DeGaza said definitely helped. Fantastic. Good. Glad you're doing well, Wanda. I was supposed to be down in Fort Worth this week, and I was going to say, hey, let's meet up for lunch. And then my plans got changed. We got one of our cars back, and the other one is still having its $5,000 transmission redone. Does that seem like a lot of money? That seems like a lot of money to me to have a transition done. Sarah says, my husband is an introvert and I'm an ambivert. So good, it was helpful. Chris says, prayers for son who's looking for a job. Absolutely. So continue put those. Okay, Carrie, good. I'm glad it helped. Continue to put those prayer requests in. I do come back during the day. When I have seen your comment and I've read your comment, I give it a thumbs up. I give it a like. And just because I've seen a comment and given a thumbs up doesn't mean I actually, I just want to let you know that I've read it. So if you see that I've given a thumbs up, and I do all my own social media work now. I did have it hired out for a while, and then I got cancer and I couldn't afford my social media help. I do all my own social media. So you're not getting a like from an assistant or anything. These are all from me and all my comments. Introverts Unite. Depends on how old the car is. It's a 2010 Nissan. From our own homes, behind our computers, says Sheila. Yeah. Topic suggestion, how to show your self-care in the world of giving and just giving in general to others and not to yourself unless you're ready. I don't know. I don't think I have from that specific angle, Janet, so thank you for that. Tina, prayers for a priest friend and for Janine, who had eye surgery 2 weeks ago, still blurred vision. Ugh. You do have a very good husband. I agree. 5K is too much. Tamara, they haven't started yet. So, I told my husband, I said, gosh, we need to find somebody. That seems like a lot of money for a transmission for a 2009, 2010 Nissan Altima. Just seems like way, way, way too much. So, all right, let's wrap it up. I'm getting private messages, and I'm assuming those are all show topic ideas, or maybe people have questions about the class. So, again, make sure that wrong one. There it is. If you haven't signed up for the class already, make sure you sign up for the class, bit.ly/4temp class. And I am taking that onto Periscope in just a little bit. So once that class is full, then it's full. And I may open another one. I'm just not sure. Going into Christmas, my time gets really short and gets really busy. I thought the car was a 95 or earlier. No, that's the one I just got back. The 92 Mercury, I just got back. And that one's fine. It's the 2009 or 2010 Nissan is the other one. So the one car was like $1,200. This one's $5,000. Which is another reason you need to sign up for the class. I should charge more for the class because I need to pay for the transmission. So anyway, what Janet said, the balance between self-care and care for others and where to set boundaries. Okay. Okay, Aaron, I appreciate that. That's a really good topic. I do have a topic for tomorrow, but that is a fantastic topic idea. It's something I'd be very happy to cover. All right, I need to scooch on out of here. And God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. It's a wonderful start to my day. And when I first started doing these, a month ago, I think I was pretty much just declared cancer-free and dove into this. And it gave me a reason to get up in the morning. And it still gives me a reason to get up in the morning. Because sometimes, the post-cancer protocol is pretty rough at times. And I've been very, very sick this past week, past 2 weeks actually. And just knowing that my Facebook friends are here every morning gave me a fantastic reason to get up and put my feet on the floor. So thank you for being here for me, because it's given me reason, it's given me hope and inspiration. So sorry about that. Thank you so much for being here. You're my family and you mean the world to me, and I appreciate you being here. So anyway, I'm going to scoot on out and go fix my makeup before I go on Periscope, because now I'm going to have like mascara running down my face. God bless you. We will see you tomorrow morning. Have a fantastic day, and may God bless you richly and abundantly. Take care. Bye.